All right, Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with my guy Troy Nash, who's moving on through this WBC. I like to call it like a death row tournament because it's just insane that everyone that signed up, like it's a very serious, dangerous tournament, and you entered in it and you're passing through with flying colors, but you're facing an undefeated guy. I think he's like 16 and 0,
Yeah, 16-0.
Muhammad Kwamli.
Yeah.
With you on this would be like your sixth fight.
Yes, sir. 6 fight.
Crazy, man. I guess talk to me about your last fight because it seemed like a lot of people were questioning if you were able to get past this guy who had a vicious knockout in the tournament. And from that point, you made it look easy, and probably if there was more time, you probably would have been the one that got the knockout.
Yeah. Shoot, I feel like the last one I didn't really get to show off everything I got. I just did the game plan and did what I needed to do to win. If there was an extra 2 rounds, I definitely would have got him out of there. But everybody was doubting me that fight once again, and I'm being doubted again this fight. So each time I'm gonna go out there and keep proving them wrong, and keep doing what I got to do. The guy, he was a vicious knockout artist, putting people to sleep, and everybody was didn't even think I stood a chance, which is crazy. But skills pay the bills, and I'm ready to go dominate again.
Well, I think it's because they look at like what his highlights are and these guys' records because, like I said, you're 5-0 going against a guy that's 16-0,
Yeah,
right? And usually that's some stuff they would do with like Lomachenko, a two-time gold medalist, someone that's probably like 10 years older than you that just have to fast track. But you're definitely not taking the easy way through this. So, kind of like you've already mentioned, they're doubting you again. I see
mhm,
a lot of posters, which doesn't really indicate who's the favorite, but your name's on the right side. So, I'm assuming potentially that might be some sort of indicator that you're coming in as maybe the underdog. So, um, what do you know about this guy? Because I know he just fought the tall African guy, and a lot of people was high on him, and he
yeah.
was able to beat him.
I definitely think he's a super good opponent. As this tournament goes on, I think each opponent is just gonna get more better and better because obviously they're winning their fight and being the other top prospects in the world. So, I'm ready for a tough, high paced action fight, and I'm ready to show more. If I got to just stick to the game plan and do what I got to do to win again, then it'll be that. But if he makes me have to go to plan B or plan C, then everybody will see a lot more that I got in my tool bag. But I definitely think he's a super good opponent. He's tough, and I know he's hungry, and I'm hungrier though, so I got to show off these skills and do what I got to do.
You know, it's kind of insane because like looking through your journey, right? It reminds me a little bit like when Andre Ward went through the Super Six.
Right.
He was like a gold medalist. No one was giving him a chance. There was a lot of killers in there, right? As it should be, right?
Yeah.
But did you get a chance to go watch through the Super Six a little bit, knowing that, you've had kind of a similar path where you went through the amateurs, won tons of nationals, and now because of your accolades, it still doesn't matter. They still kind of view you as this underdog throughout this tournament.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. When I was younger, when I was about 7 or 8, maybe a little older, maybe. But me and my dad and family, all we did when I grew up was watch boxing because I was boxing. Grew up in a gym with Adrian Broner and guys like that, so I was always watching boxing. And we watched the tournament actually. And I was telling my dad it'd be crazy if I get the opportunity to do that one day, and God willing, I'm doing it now. So it's just crazy how things work out, and I definitely think I'm kind of somewhat on a similar path. I didn't, go to the Olympics, but even in my fights, it lets me know I'm doing something right when the commentators are saying like, he's looking kind of similar to Andre Ward in there when I'm fighting behind the jab and using real ring generalship, using IQ. And I just want to keep, if I'm getting comparisons like that, let me know I'm doing something right. So I just want to keep doing, great things in the ring.
Has any fighters or anyone reached out to you after your second fight through this WBC tournament and kind of either like give you words of encouragement or advice or just praise? Has there
Yeah.
anyone that hit you up recently?
Yeah, there's a couple of young fighters because they see what's going on. Like this is who I'm going against, what type of fighters I'm beating. So it's actually a lot of young prospects that they've been hitting me up, giving me just like good job, congratulations, props and stuff like that, keep doing what you're doing. And then I had Shakur also say, just keep doing what you're doing. Shout out to him on his victory versus Zepeda. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's insane because like you guys both were like top amateurs, right? And you guys have both shown two different styles. Like he's shown that in his last fight he can bang in the inside, but he can also box on the outside. Very similar to like your last two fights where you were able to use a jab to
Yeah.
neutralize and dismantle an opponent. And then the other fight you showed that you were able to go to the body, kind of step to him a little bit. So if you were able to give a percentage of how much have you shown from your tool bag, right? Let's say 100% is everything. You got the electric drill, you got the mask, you got the torch, whatever. How much percentage do you think you've shown so far out of your bag?
Honestly, I think probably like 20%.
20%?
Yeah, I got so much more like, man, I could sit there if I got to and really, fight in the
Hmm.
pocket and not get hit and really dominate. But all I've been showing them was just a jab. Like that's all they think right now. So I'm gonna just keep letting them think that going into these fights, all they game planning for is just a jab. So, when I bring out other stuff and I'm doing some different stuff and they see how it really is in there, because it's easy when you're watching somebody like, oh man, all he got is a jab. If we get past the jab, we could beat him. But it's so much more you got to worry about when you're in there.
I mean, that's the first thing. Can he get past your jab, right?
Yeah.
Like, I guess
Yeah.
that's what we'll find out. So, with your opponent, I mean, do you think he's a rough and tough fighter? Do you think he's slick and defensive? How would you categorize him for the fans that are going to be watching the fight coming up?
He's super rough for sure. Like he's
Hmm.
tough. He comes in with his head and he just swings and throws hard and he throws a lot of punches. He kind of like similar to Zepeda. He's actually been training out there with his coaches. They can't fight for him though.
Hmm.
I always say that it doesn't matter who's training you or who you're training with. You got to go in there and fight. So no, none of that matter to me. But it might our fight might look similar to Shakur and Zepeda. Who knows?
So you're saying he's working with Panda and Zepeda
Yeah,
and all of them?
yeah.
I mean,
He's
on the
from
flip,
Italy. He went out there for this camp to Mexico.
that's interesting because I know I've seen some pictures with him with Pitbull
Yeah.
and some stuff like that. So, um, but you're in Colorado. There's a guy out in Colorado. I'm sure you've been training side by side with none other than Terrence Bud Crawford, right? So,
Yeah, I've been training with one of the greatest fighters of our generation, and just know I've been learning a lot from him as well throughout this camp.
what's um, what's the experience like just in this kind of camp, right? Because like you worked with around him before. You've been around Keyshawn, Shakur, all those guys, because obviously they come to the Olympic Training Center area. So, what's the vibe like, in this setting?
Uh, Man, I think Bud is taking this one more serious. Like I've been seeing him more serious than I have before. I feel like man, he's training hard. Like I've always seen him train hard, but this one is like different. Actually being there and watching how he's working, he's ready to dominate. And I know it's gonna be a great fight because he's moving up in weight. But man, this guy he's taking this fight super serious, and which I know Canelo is as well. I seen videos of him bringing in young sparring partners and he's trying to get pushed to the next level. So I know we're in for a firefight, and I just think that Bug got what it take. And
Mhm.
the way I've been seeing him training, and I told everyone this fight in the Errol Spence fight, like I know Errol's training hard, but the way I see Bud training, and he didn't went up a whole nother level this fight. So I'm ready to watch.
Yeah, so you were around him around the Spence time, right? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah, I
people.
was there the whole camp.
So people were like, "Yo, that's like what they say is his marquee win, right? The one that he
Yeah,
looked Superman and invincible." Are you saying that right now, how he's looking on putting on the extra weight too, that he looks more devastating and more dangerous than the time you saw him around the Spence fight?
yeah, he looks better right now than he did in the Spence fight, for
Okay.
sure.
Well, I don't want to go into details, right? Because the Canelo can't be potential listening and all that stuff. But like, what about it? Is it mentality? Does it seem like he's grown into the weight comfortable? Does he look like intelligently fighting better? Like, or is it just the full package that just
Uh, I'm just gonna say everything. Y'all see on Fight Night. I know what's going on. Y'all gonna see on Fight Night, man. It's about to get dangerous in there.
yeah. Oh, well, it makes sense because I just played with him in some Street Fighter, like on some fighting game.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that competitive. Like I didn't know like he would take it to another level like that.
Yeah, that's what
But
people don't get. Like, it's one thing we boxing, and of course everyone wants to win, but his competitive nature is not letting him lose. Like, he takes it to the next level. So I could see it in his training how, because everyone is down on him.
mhm.
Everybody like, oh, Bud's gonna lose. He's going up two weight classes. That's the main thing I feel like playing in his head. This camp is, oh, you're fighting Canelo and you're going up two weight classes. So it's making him train. I've been man, he training hard. Like, this is different.
I mean, it works perfect with you because it seems like you guys are walking a similar path coming up because, you know, a lot of people. I mean, I'm still until September comes, right? Like, 'cause it's a fight where when you use your boxing brain and use the history throughout boxing, it tells you that this is like not logical. Like it can happen, it has happened, but because it happens so little, the likelihood is so small, right? So, and that's probably why a lot of people look at you in this tournament, same as, kind of the Terrence situation. Like 9 times out of 10, a guy that's 5-0 who didn't win a gold medal, right? Didn't get these Olympic accolades to face a guy that's 16-0 who also has a great background. I'm assuming an amateur. Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't win a fight like that.
Yeah. That's
So,
how I look at it. Yeah.
um, with this win, it pretty much sets you up from, not looking past them, but with this win, it sets you up pretty much with two more wins. I mean, two more fights, and you win the whole thing. Essentially, this win, one more fight, and then the grand finals, which, there's a whole nother shark infested, water fighters on the other
Yeah.
side.
hmm
Is there one that you've been watching from over there that you think that if everything lines up, like that's the one that you might end up potentially facing?
Man, I don't know honestly because it's just the to me the best prospects in the world,
Mhm.
going against each other, and it's like I don't know if this guy because Styles, Styles make fights, and it's certain styles on that side. I don't know who could beat who, but I know I'm really looking at three people on the other side, and it's like whoever makes it out of those three, and I'll be ready to fight them. I just want the best fighter, because then that makes me bring out my best and it makes me train harder and makes me level up. And that's really what this whole tournament is about. It's been making me train harder than ever, pushing me to the next level, being more disciplined throughout camp because I know how serious the fights are.
You know, like I keep bringing up the Super Six because it has kind of a parallel, but there was a point where people thought it could have or should have maybe been Andre Ward and Darrell at a point. And there's two Americans, you're one of the two.
Yeah.
There's Lee on the other side, which I think has been heavily doubted as well.
hmm
Um, was there any history between you guys? Have you guys been around each other through the amateurs or whatnot? Because it'd be pretty crazy that if the two Americans made it in the grand finals in a situation like this, I mean, because I don't
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of American coverage going on right now for you guys.
Yeah. Nah, this is my first time hearing about him, but I watched him fight throughout the tournament, and I think he got what it takes as well to make it to the finals, where it could be us fighting. And I think he's like 25 or 26, so he's older than me. So as far as in the amateurs, I didn't really see him on the scene like that because he's older and my age group. When I was a youth, I think he was probably already pro, or when I was
Hmm.
fighting juniors, he was already pro. So I didn't really see him like that. But he's definitely talented, and I could see us in the finals.
In other words, you're fighting essentially grown ass men,
Yeah,
at this point,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
crazy. Well,
In the amateurs though, when I first went elite, when I turned 18, I was fighting guys that was 30 years old.
mhm.
I fought like three guys that had fought Shakur, that had fought Devin Haney. They were just amateur for so long, so I already experienced that part.
You know, I guess some of your counterparts, right? Because, you're going through this situation where it's very tough. It's very rewarding because I'm assuming that when you win this, there's a lot of notoriety, money, legitimacy, turkeys behind it. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things set up for the winner of this. But with some of your contemporaries, right? Zaquin and Cormel, I know that all you guys, different weight classes, fluctuate, but you kind of came out as like the guy that beat the guy to beat the guy amongst
Right.
them. How do you think their careers progressing, and do you feel like they're progressing in a way where you guys would probably potentially meet up after this tournament?
Yeah, I feel like all of our careers are going, down a different path. Carmel, he with Floyd, and Floyd's building them up good. Same with Zay with Eddie. They're building up pretty good. And I'm really worried about just the tournament as of now. But if their career goes like how it's supposed to, and I'm keep doing what I'm gonna do, we definitely will see each other. I would love to fight both of them. And that'd be big fights for world titles and for a lot of money. So for them, stay focused. Y'all keep doing what y'all do, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And we definitely will see each other. Get a big bag and make history.
It's essentially once like Tank and like when Crawford and all them kind of get out, it'll be Tank, Devin, Shakur, and all of them. But it looks like you guys will be the guys where all the podcasts and all the YouTubers
Yeah,
and all the analysts and the journalists will be constantly, comparing. So I'm sure that all you guys will align each other at some point.
yeah.
Um, Before I let you go, um, just wanted to get your prediction on the potential future fight. Not saying that it's going to happen, but because Lamont and Tank doesn't seem like it's going to be happening at least anytime soon right now, right? It's unknown if it happens this year, if it happens later down the line. But Shakur's entertained the idea of wanting to fight Lamont. Lamont's been entertaining the idea of wanting to fight Shakur. I mean, how do you think that fight plays out?
I think that'd be a firefight, man. That'd be a great fight as well. That's we're finally kind of getting back to where boxing, where we're seeing great fights often. Like the month of July was great. We've seen so many great fights, and boxing's finally starting to get back to that. So, I would love to see that fight. I don't. I feel like Shakur probably would win, but you can't count Lamont out, especially after the Tank fight. He showed everyone why he's not to be counted out. So, I can't wait for that fight. If it does happen, I feel like Shakur got what it takes to win, but it definitely would be a great fight, and I'm not counting Lamont out.
Do you feel like that's one of those type of fights where someone really has to, I guess, step towards someone to get the win at a point? Like it because, Shakur mentioned he's not gonna want to fight the way he fought like in his Zepeda fight, right? And
Yeah.
Lamont's pretty patient, but they're gonna be sitting, gonna try to maybe outbox each other at a certain point. But if one is kind of behind, right? Let's say Lamont is behind on, on the scorecards from Shakur or vice versa. Will that create a situation where Shakur's gonna have to step to Lamont or Lamont's gonna have to step to Shakur? Um, or you just think it's gonna be a boxing match the whole time?
No, I actually think it'll be somewhat a fight in the pocket. Shakur, I did see where he said he didn't want to fight like that again, the way he did against Zepeda. But when you fight somebody like Lamont, you can't, box all night. You got to somewhat sit there sometimes. So I definitely think we'll see a fight that's in the pocket.
So, with all things said, do you feel like Lamont would be on at least on paper, Shakur's toughest fight, like a professional, because of what people think that he was able to do in the tank fight?
Um, that's a good question. I think uh maybe he's probably the most accomplished. Um, I mean, you got Edwin De Los Santos. He was knocking everybody out. So he was super good. That was somebody. And Shakur beat him with one hand. It takes a lot. The fans were talking so much about that fight, but when you beat a guy with one hand in a 12-round professional fight, man, that says a lot about you. So, um, Shakur showed dog in that fight as well. He maybe didn't sit there with him the whole night, but you find him one hand. So what was you supposed to do?
Facts.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
We talked actually, it reminds me of another topic. We talked a little bit about this, and I don't know if we circled back, but Kid Austin knocked out Tevin Farmer in a round. So obviously it raised a lot of interest between Kid Austin and Shakur, all right? So, I mean, based off that performance with Kid Austin, do you think that that makes it a little bit more tougher for Shakur, or it's just that was just a fight where Kid was able to just show out and it doesn't really change your original opinion?
I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I don't take no credit away from Kid for that victory, but I just think Tevin went out there cold. If you
Mhm.
look, he went in the ring flat. He wasn't bound. It was like literally the first minute of the fight. The first punch he threw, he landed. When fighters go in that ring, the first couple of punches are gonna be as strong as they are the whole night. And he had the opportunity to fight Shakur. I don't know what happened. It's not my business really what happened, but that says it all. When they had the opportunity to fight, it didn't happen. And Shakur had to fight a different opponent. But if they were to fight, I think Shakur would win. But it'll be a great fight though. Because Kid Austin, he is fast and explosive, but I just think skills pay the bills, and Shakur got what it take.
Awesome. Um, Before I let you go, right? I mean, when it comes down to this tournament, that I just want to heavily emphasize, right? This is not an easy tournament. This is a tournament where a lot of people do not want to enter. A lot of promoters, a lot of managers have advised their fighters to not enter it because of the risk. This is not like an amateur tournament where kind of like it goes away, or it not
Yeah,
goes away, but it doesn't really count.
it really
Like
matter. Yeah.
this is all like your professional record in a tournament style where, boxers don't enter these tournaments. They don't do these types of things because of the risk and what it holds and the value of the O in this era. So, I mean, really, what made you actually do this? Like, I know like you're 2 wins in and there's a couple more left, but does it build the confidence in the decision that you guys made going into it and just to kind of really emphasize in hindsight, what really just made you go, I can go in here and start really beating these guys like the way that you've been beating them?
Man, so really my dad, my dad's my manager, and my dad was like, when he first seen the tournament and he seen the guys, like it's gonna be tough, but it's definitely gonna be tough fights. Every time we get in there, we're gonna be fighting a tough fight. But with me growing up, I've been in there with the best pros since I was about 15 or 16, and I believe in my ability. I sparred the best, and it's just sparring, but being able to hold your own at 15 and 16 against world champions or top level fighters. I know if I'm going in there now that I'm 20 as well, I got a little more experience and I'm a little more stronger. I don't really feel like I don't care who it is in the world at 126 at my weight. I definitely feel like I could beat anybody in the world. The champion right now, any one of them. In this tournament, I'm going against guys that's older than me, but they're prospects like me. They're not world champions yet, so they're hungry too. But I just feel like God put this opportunity in front of me, and it's just up to me to take advantage of the opportunity and do what I got to do. So once I got that invitation and I seen that it was real, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go train hard and do what I got to do to win this thing.
Do you feel like at the end of all this that you'll get the actual recognition? Because it doesn't really seem like I was saying earlier, like the American press or American media in boxing doesn't really seem like they're really on it. I don't know if the UK's heavily on it, or if you've been kind of praised overseas over in Riyadh, but do you feel like after all this that you're going to be on the map and everyone's going to give you due? Because this is going to push you, I think, above really prospect of the year kind of status because of it kind of puts you in a contender series.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I really don't care about that because the people who matter, they know who I am, and they've been knowing that since the first fight. And that's what really matters to me. All the real hardcore boxing fans, they know who I am, and you know, um, I'm getting paid good, so I don't really care who knows who I am and who don't know who I am. The people who matter, they know me, so that's all that matters.
Getting paid real good for this tournament. That's what's up, man. That's awesome. Well, dope, man. For everyone that'll be tuning in, the fight's gonna be on the Zone,
Yep, the
and
zone and Ring Magazine YouTube.
it's gonna be August 13th. It's gonna be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, so it's gonna be a little bit early in the morning on the East Coast in America, even early on the West Coast. But in case they missed it, they can go rewind it or just fast forward to the part. But safe travels. If anything, do you want to tell anything to the fans that right before they watch you fight during this interview?
I appreciate everyone who's supporting me, who's watching, and I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do, keep winning, just keep tuning in and supporting, and thank y'all.
And where can they follow you on social media?
Follow me on Twitter at Real Troy Nash and on Instagram as well at Real Troy Nash.